Hey guys, I hope you are doing well. This is Abby and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be another journal with me using the prompts for the 2020 Creative Journaling Challenge for May. This month we're focusing on mental health awareness, so I wanted to touch base on another topic that I've always gotten across and a lot of people have asked me. So we're going to talk about stress. So again, if you're not keen on this type of topic, feel free to watch my other videos related to creative journaling instead. But today I also wanted to share with you a very simple way of how you can just use pens basically. So if you're doing lettering, this is a great way to exercise your creativity. You don't have to use any fancy stationery, washi tape, or anything if you don't have that on your current stash. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you also, this was one of the earliest, I guess, types of journaling I did. Way back when I started, I didn't really have a knack for stationery. I was really just into lettering. Actually, I got into lettering because of journaling. So I would spend my days filling up all my pages of my journals with stuff like these. So I thought I'd share it today and give out a lengthy pep talk of sorts on how I deal with stress. Now, stress is one of the biggest reasons why I suffer from mental health issues, and that's not something to be proud of, but I guess it's the truth, so I think it's something worth talking about. We all experience different types of stress in our lives. It can be stress from work, from family, from personal stress, from events that cause you stress. A lot of things really just cause stress, and with it comes a bout of anxiety. So usually when you hear terms like stress and anxiety and depression, they all are sort of connected together, and usually the trigger or the point where you get mentally ill, one of the biggest causes would be stress. And I didn't realize this until maybe like 4 years ago, when I started becoming more of a adult. When I got into my early 20s, basically, I didn't really realize how stress would play such a big role in the depletion of my health in general, not just in mental health, but also my physical health has had a toll on this. So I just wanted to share it with you guys today, for you guys who are younger or older than me. But yeah, I think I just wanted to say that I guess it happens to everyone, and it really just takes a lot of analyzation and self discovery also, and training yourself to act in certain ways. It's really hard, but with these 5 ways that I thought of, I hope I could give you guys a hand. Not physically, because social distancing, but yeah. So by the way, I'm using different pens here. If you notice, I used different brands of fine liner pens. I basically got stuff that I have here at home, but one of the ones that I'll be using primarily in this episode of Journal with Me is this Pentel Touch, because it's just so versatile and easy to use. So the first way on how I deal with stress is to analyze the situation. So when you say analyze situation, sometimes you get really overwhelmed. That's how I feel mostly. Like, I just when someone tells me something, I just freak out, panic, and then like stop talking altogether. But I think one of the best ways you can deal with stress when you're faced with it head on is to ask yourself, what is the main cause of my stress? And another question that you should ask is, where is it coming from? I think one of the reasons why we don't recognize it immediately is we get too wrapped up in our own head. We always when we find out something, like usually when it comes to like bad news, I get really frantic about it, and after that I get sort of like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And the thing is, you start to overthink all the situations that could possibly go wrong, or also situations that aren't even happening yet. But always you have to take a step back and think about what is happening, who is affected, what certain parts of your life will be altered, will be affected, will have an effect on this. I think this is also very relatable for us these days, being in quarantine, and I've been itching to go out of the house, but from where I'm from, I'm in one of the currently, not so safe places to live in the world right now, and it just didn't sink in until like the past April that this was just not going to end as soon as possible. So there is a lot of external stress also, and the best way that you can, empathize with yourself and, get a hold on it, on the situation, is to analyze it from your own perspective. So, do some reading, get on it, or just try to analyze certain areas where you think it might have caused something. One more question to ask is also, did something or someone trigger the cause of why you are feeling this way? So usually I get this when I get into random arguments with people and I just can't contain myself. So not really arguments, but misunderstandings, or when people, I always think people are out to get me. I don't know if that's like something I grew up with, or it comes with the whole like being a public figure and stuff. So I think it's worth asking, because at the end of the day, you know yourself best, and sometimes your head just tells you like, oh, you're supposed to think this way, but actually that's not how you're supposed to think. Remember, our feelings are not all real. Our thoughts are not all real. It's what our brain tells us to do. Which leads us to our second how I deal with stress is to breathe. I know this is so simple and something we take for granted, but a simple deep breath can change the course of how your mindset will be throughout the next few hours. And I usually run out of breath. I think this is also caused by anxiety. I really run out of breath without even realizing it. And when I get stressed out, it leads to a possible anxiety attack. And when this happens, I really just try to, stop everything I'm doing. Actually, I got this last week. I was really frantic about it. I was just, peacefully working on some stuff. Kind of got overwhelmed with the whole realm of things that I had to do, and I just stopped working and I went back to my bed, took a really nice like quick break, watching a few YouTube videos, and basically stopped what I'm doing. I think most of the time our brains are just like work, and we forget to just live in the moment. And I think it's also important to snap out of it, because it's really crucial for you to just take care of yourself. Also, what happens is when you get stressed out, a lot of your physical symptoms show more than the emotional, because that's how your body responds to it. That's what I realized. I used to have a lot of acid attacks as well, super random. I thought it was because I had acidity, or I mean I am also acidic, but apparently it was more of the fact that I have anxiety, and I did notice this pattern moving forward. And yeah, it's something that you have to take note of. So being mindful of yourself is really important at this point, not just in the way you think, but also with how you take care of yourself physically. Next that I like doing is always to give myself a pep talk. I'm not really the best at giving myself advice. This is a known fact. As a Capricorn, I like giving advice to a lot of my friends, and sometimes I tell myself like, hey, I actually give pretty good advice, but I never follow it. I mean, it took me like a TEDx talk to realize that I was actually giving others the advice that I could have given myself, which resulted to me resigning my job and pursuing this career. And it's also the reason why I have videos now here on my channel. But anyway, that's for another video. But yeah, I like giving myself pep talks. Sometimes I don't realize that I am feeling like things are not okay until I just talk it out. Not really in this, I like talking to myself. I mean, I'm usually alone in the room anyway. But if not that, I just write it out on my journal, or sometimes when I give pep talks to friends, they'll be the one to say like, Abby, you should probably tell that to yourself instead. So there really is nothing like some tough love, to be honest. I mean, in general, I'm not really a person who loves myself that much. I'm still working on that. So I think tough love is one of the best ways I could do it for now. And last but not least, as much as it stresses me out, I just really have to deal with it like a true adult. I tend to hide a lot of my responsibilities and problems only because I feel like there are just so many things bothering me at the moment. Like I beg to differ, and I'm just like, okay, I've had it, I'll just deal with it another day. But honestly, I can't sleep if I know that I'm worrying about something, or I'm stressed out about something, or if I feel like I'm not getting myself across. I think growing up having to be like super obedient and respectful, I don't know if it's because I'm Chinese, I grew up in a very strict disciplined school, that nowadays when I feel like I have to speak up, I really just say something. Even a simple like misunderstanding with a family member, I just say, you know what, this is the problem. I just cannot stand not having to. I hate it when people stress me out, because for me it's like, why are you invading my personal space? I'd get it more if events freak me out or like stress me out. But yeah, I mean, I would just say like facing it and confronting it by making an effort to figure out what you can do to reduce it, reduce the stress, and feel better for your own sake. At the end of the day, this is really just for you. And I know it will take a lot of time, but trust me, it will be worth it. Stress is just really hard to pull through, and I know it can be difficult and different for every one of us, but I hope you find a way in order to deal with your own stress. And I would also love to see your journal spreads on this topic. Do feel free to tag me on Instagram and join our Facebook group, and more challenges on the prompts at the link in the description. This is the final page, and I hope you enjoyed this super quick video. And yeah, it's very wordy. I hope you picked up a thing or two about this topic, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!